Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and this is the PUMA Sky. So at first I thought it was called the Sky Dreamer, but apparently the Sky Dreamer is just a colorway, and I'm looking on their site and saying it's just the PUMA Sky, and this specifically is the PUMA Fashion Geek Sky. There's this like neon red colorway and also a Volt colorway if you guys want to cop. It's going for 130 bucks, so if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. But PUMA is kicking it up into high gear when it comes to basketball shoes because they've been releasing quite a few of them recently. So this is just my first impressions. Let's get it started off with the traction. There's quite a few patterns on this outsole. So here in the forefoot, you have some thick lines actually, and they are segmented. There is a pivot point where the ball of your foot is, and then this yellow part is more of like a waffle pattern. It's a very thick rubber, and same thing goes for this green part. It's a very thick rubber as well. And in the middle of the outsole, you have a PUMA logo, and in the heel, it kind of reminds me of like a metal plate. You know what I'm saying? You know those metal grow plates that you see on some like squat stations? That's what it kind of reminds me of. But just testing it out on my wood floors, it didn't seem like it was getting a good stock for some reason. So I am a little worried about that because, you know, I remember when I first got these and I tried on my wood floors, it was sticking pretty well. So we'll have to see on that. As far as the durability goes though, durability seems very, very good. It's a really, really thick and hard rubber, so I don't think durability is going to be an issue at all, even on outdoor courts. And it says on their website that it's high abrasion resistant rubber. As far as the heel to toe transition goes, it feels pretty good so far. There is a curved shape here in the heel, as well as a little bit of heel compression. There is a good amount of forefoot flex, which I really like. And in the forefoot, you have a little bit of a curve up. It's not a crazy curve up, but you know, at least it's not flat. So overall, it seems smooth. And moving on to the cushion, they're using a full-length Pro Foam. And it's the exact same cushion setup that's being used in the Clyde Hardwood, but it's not caged. So on the Clyde Hardwood, the full-length Pro Foam was heavily caged here on the lateral side as well as in the heel. The only exposed part was kind of like in the midfoot, but you know, it's really never gonna compress here, you know? But here in the Sky, it's mostly exposed, which I really like. It's only slightly caged here in the heel, and just pressing with your finger is pretty damn soft. As of right now, it's pretty hard for me to feel the cushion right underneath my foot, but I can definitely feel the compression of the entire midsole, especially in the heel. It seems like it's gonna be kind of bouncy. Court feel seems pretty good, and the insole is comfortable as well. It improves the step-in comfort, so I'm actually not mad at this cushion setup, and I'm glad that they didn't cage it up like they did in the Clyde Hardwoods. So moving on to the upper, they're using a material that they're calling a premium knit mesh. So you can find it here in the toe area, and it extends all the way here into the ankle area. And you have some touches of suede, and the suede is okay. You know, it's not a very nice quality suede, but there are some touches of leather as well here in the tongue and in the ankle area, and the leather quality isn't bad. So this knit mesh in the toe is actually pretty thin. It's soft, it conforms to your foot really well, and it seems supportive. There's really no stretch to the material. It reminds me a lot of the Element 55 material for some reason. You know, it's like see-through, it's super thin, and then there's another material underneath that with a grid of ventilation holes. As you get into the lateral side, here in the toe area, you have a suede panel with a cord that acts as an eyelet, which also acts as a lateral counter, I would say, as well as a very robust heel counter. Like, this plastic is very hard, and it's a very thick plastic as well. I feel like it adds a good amount of weight. I'm very curious to see how much this shoe weighs. And as far as the lacing system goes, the first eyelet goes through these cords, and then the second eyelet goes through the actual upper, kind of like a Yeezy. The tongue is full on leather, and it has a good amount of padding, and it's very comfortable on foot. And there's also a good amount of padding here in the ankle area, which feels nice. They're not really Achilles pillows, but I feel like the extra padding does help to contain your heel inside the shoe. And of course, there is a strap. The strap is connected to this suede material that kind of connects around the heel to the PUMA logo. And this elastic strap kind of helps to tighten the strap a little bit more around your ankle. As of right now, I don't really feel like it does anything. You know, it's just like you just tighten up your shoes, and that's probably where most of the tightening is going to be. And of course, here in the toe area, you have a little bit of fuse for extra added durability if you do toe drags. I just wish the quality of the suede and the leather was a little bit better. As far as the sizing goes, I went true to size, and it fits my foot perfectly lengthwise, and widthwise I would say it's pretty narrow. My pinky toe is kind of like right here, and it's digging into this cord a little bit. I wouldn't say it's painful, but it's just slightly uncomfortable for me right now. And as far as the toe space, my foot is actually very snug in the shoe. There's not a lot of dead space anywhere in the shoe for me. So fit is very, very nice, besides I guess the width being a little narrow. This shoe is a high, and of course, like all highs, it's kind of hard to put on. You know, you really have to loosen up the laces entirely and then just struggle to put your foot in a little bit, but you know, you do get ankle support, which feels really good in this. One thing that I don't like about this design is that usually, or I guess sometimes, high tops have a little bit of a cutout here. So the main thing for a high top is obviously for ankle support, right? And the main way you're gonna roll your ankle is by doing this type of motion, right? You step on someone's foot like this, and then you're gonna roll your ankle like this. So you want a little bit of support right here so your ankle doesn't bend this way. But then you're never gonna roll your ankle going like this, right? So then why not put a cutout here? Because with this design, this part doesn't allow your foot to bend this way, so you can't really bend your Achilles like this. You know, it's kind of hard. So then when you're landing and stuff like that, it's kind of hard to absorb the impact, and because of this design, your knee is taking a lot of that impact, and it's not good for your knees. So I feel like if they put a little bit of cutout here, it would have been a little bit better. And also it would give you a little bit more, I guess, range of motion in your ankle. And just thinking about it, I also don't really think you need a panel right here. The only place you need a panel is on the medial side, because you know, if your foot is like this and then you're doing this type of motion, the only place that needs to stop this rolling motion is right here. You know, you're not gonna roll your ankle like this, right? So you don't really need this panel or this panel here in the back. So if someone could come up with an idea or design where you can eliminate that, then I think that would be kind of cool. But that's just my thoughts. But obviously, if you're looking for ankle support, you're gonna get a lot of ankle support. Like, look at how stiff that is. So there's that, and of course there is a little bit of an outrigger. So you have a nice wide and low base. So this shoe feels overall laterally stable, and this shoe has the outsole coming up here on the medial side. So you have a little bit more grip if you're doing this type of movement. And it also has a little bit of an outsole curvature. Obviously nowhere close to Kyrie's shoes, but you know, that little curvature right there with this rubber extending up is a nice little touch. Because some shoes, they're just completely flat and they don't have any of this rubber coming up. So, you know, when you do this type of movement, it tends to slip out a little bit. So I really like how they did that. As far as the weight goes, I feel like this shoe's gonna be kind of heavy. We'll have to see. I'm guessing like 16 ounces. Man, I can't catch a break. First, the Adapt BBs being 18 ounces. Now these are 16 ounces. And this shoe is freaking heavy, guys. And the limited range of motion here in the ankle also makes the shoe feel a little slow as well. You know, like you feel a little restricted. So I definitely don't think this is going to be a very responsive shoe in terms of, like, I guess, feeling light on your feet. As far as the aesthetics though, I really like the aesthetics. The shoe looks dope. And this is the Fashion Geek colorway, so it says Geek here on the tongue. You have 3 colorful Puma logos here in the back, and it says Sky here in the heel. And I definitely feel like you can rock this shoe off court as well. So aesthetics, they're doing a really good job. So as far as my first impressions go, I'm not really liking this shoe too much so far. Like you just saw, it's 16 freaking ounces, super heavy, puffy, a little bulky, traction doesn't seem very good. But you never know, maybe the traction is gonna be really good. Like the Puma Clyde cord is 14.5 ounces. And that's really, really heavy as well. And they're just doing too much with their shoes, you know, with all this caging, with all this rubber and plastic on their shoes. It's just making it too heavy, even though they're making like good performers. So you know, like with this shoe, there's all this plastic, and I also don't think Pro Foam is a very lightweight foam. And maybe they can ease it up a little bit with these leather and suede touches as well, and I guess with the padding too. So that's definitely one thing that Puma needs to work on their shoes. But they're definitely killing it in the design department, you know? They're making great looking shoes. So that's just my thoughts so far on the Puma Sky. Again, if you guys want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.